40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is a coach as well as organizational expert, no other than Mr. Rahul Sharma.
Thank you, Daniel, for having me on the show. How are you doing today?
Fabulous, Mr. Rahul. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, my name is Rahul Sharma. I'm a leadership strategist, organization development expert, an author, and recently developed my framework called Climb. It's a confident leader framework based in Washington D.C. metro area. Been in the corporate world for over 25 years, and now stepped into a role where I help organizations who are in transformation stage, who are going through those change management. That's where my expertise lies in, and these are the companies I help and work with. Um, and when I'm not working, I do swimming, I play Sudoku, and spend time with the kids. That's about me, my friend. Based in Washington, D.C. metro area.
Mr. Rahul Karam Sharma, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. How do you define confidence in leadership within a framework, and is it different from charisma, decisiveness, or arrogance?
Well, so the way I look at it, Daniel, confidence isn't just a personal trait; it's an organizational advantage. In my experience, I have seen confident leaders are those who are decisive, authentic, and create psychological safety, which actually fuels better collaboration and performance. And it is because of these beliefs I created this climb framework, which is grounded in two core pillars, Daniel, confidence and collaboration. And I have seen that all our leaders they go through unique stages in their leadership journey, and these stages are initially they are in invisible, then they move into potential, then they move into achiever, and finally into influencer stage. So I help, and the climb framework basically helps individuals in these stage to move to the next stage. That's what the climb framework. And as I said earlier, I don't see it is just a personal trait. It is out and out an organizational advantage, because confidence really makes a difference, and it really moves things forward for the team, for the individual, and overall for the organization.
Overall, indeed. What's the causal link you've identified between leader confidence and tangible organizational results? How does confidence translate directly to the bottom line?
Well, confidence helps, bottom line, by ensuring that the tasks are getting accomplished. Confidence translate into better retention, because leaders are looking, sorry, the employees are looking to work with leaders who they like, who they trust. It is not about the title. By title you can have people under you, but ultimately it is your trust and likability factor, and the trust and likability factor happens through your confidence. So from the bottom line perspective, it reduces the turnover, it improves the morale of the organization, morale of the employees, and end of the end, it is also helps in increasing the profit, because uh, less turnover, more productivity means more profit. That is what confidence does for an organization.
Indeed, Mr. Raoul, totally agree with you. And what makes your framework distinct from other leadership models like transformational, servant, or authentic leadership? What specific gap does it fill?
So one of the thing that I have seen, Daniel, is most of the models that exist, they talk about uh, leadership concept from a perspective that it's one size fit all. And the unique thing about my framework is focusing on that individual, because each and every individual is different and each and every leader's journey is different. So there is a need for a model which is more one size fit one versus one size fit all. So that is the huge differentiator in my model. So our framework identifies the stage of a leader and then helps them to move from that one stage to another, versus just doing one set of training to 20 leaders. Out of those 25 may not even need that training, because in today's environment, Daniel, every leader does not need training, every leader does not need coaching. They just need a different perspective from either their manager, their coach, or a mentor. Just having a different perspective will allow people to move forward. So, all in all, our framework is more one size fit one rather than one size fit all. And that is the biggest differentiator that I hear from my clients whom I'm serving.
Is leader confidence primarily an innate trait, or it can be systematically developed using your framework?
It can be very much developed. Yes, there are some people who are inborn with that trait, but I am a firm believer that confidence is something that can be built, that can be created. And the way our framework works, because I believe it all starts with mindset. Mindset is the biggest differentiator for us. Whatever we believe, we bring that into action. And the first acronym, the climb acronym that I've used for my framework, the C is cultivate your mindset. We need to create our mindset. And oftentimes, Daniel, I have seen most of leaders or individual contributors, they really don't know themselves, they don't know their own strength. So the L in my framework, it talks about leverage your strength. There is a statistics that only 11% of leaders in corporate America are self-aware, which is they're not aware about their own strength. So leveraging your strength is very, very critical. And when you know your strength, the next stage is where you need to integrate. The I in the climb framework, Daniel, stands for integration of purpose and vision. Because if you don't have a direction, if you don't know your destination, then you will just do not reach to the right place. So you will just keep on moving without any end destination, and you will burn out. So it's very, very important to integrate your purpose and vision. And the other part is, once you got your vision mission, then you move to that influencer stage where your role is to magnify your impact, where your role is to build a legacy. So yes, confidence can be built, very much built, but to start that, you need to cultivate the right mindset.
Legacy indeed. People build your legacy because life is too short. How does vulnerability fit into your model of confident leadership? Can leaders be both confidently vulnerable?
Absolutely, absolutely. See, vulnerability I see is our employees, the team members, they need to see that you are human. They don't need to see that, okay, you are a robot. We all deal with emotions, we all have our day-to-day things. So we do need to be vulnerable. I don't see vulnerability as a sign of a weakness. It allows you to connect more and effective way with your audience. So yes, confidence and vulnerability go hand in hand, and it is very much required indeed in today's environment where trust is very, very important in building a solid team, building a solid leadership.
Trust is crucial, people, for everyone, and it's hard to earn. Can you walk us through the core pillars or steps of our confident leaders framework?
Sure. So the steps or the The stages that I mentioned earlier, Daniel, is first one is invisible, where you are invisible, no one knows you, no one sees you. If you don't come to work, no one cares about it. That's where you are invisible. That is when you are that stage, when you start in an organization or when you are first time in your leadership role. Then you move into that potential stage where your team members, your leaders see that you have potential, but still they do not see that you are there to become a leader. You're a good employee, you're a good individual contributor, but not being seen as a leader. The third stage, Daniel, is achiever, where you get promoted, you become a leader, you become a manager, you're very successful, you are on all the podiums, monthly award, quarterly award, yearly award, nice paycheck. Suddenly you realize that you do not know what's work life balance. You're burning out. You are not able to do what things that you really love. You lack that vision and the purpose. And once you get that vision and purpose, then the next stage is the influencer stage, where your role is you are doing things unconsciously, competently. So you are doing things which becomes your habit, and that's how you become an influencer. And once you become an influencer, your role is to magnify your impact, build your legacy. And what I mean by magnify your impact, Daniel, I just want to take a minute or two here. It's most of the leaders I have seen in an organization in the corporate world, they take care of their own team, just 8 to 10 people or 20 people or 30 people that report to them. The way I look at it is, once you become a leader, you are a leader for that organization. You are not just leader for that one team. So when I say magnify your impact with the different teams, different departments, cross-functional leaders. You impact them as well as not just your team, and then create a legacy. The A great sign of a good leader is how many leaders they have produced. It's just not about you doing good, but how you have inculcated those qualities in others so that you are leaving a legacy. So these are the four stages of our climb framework. And the acronym climb, the CLIMB, it allows them to move from one stage to another. As I said earlier, from invisible to potential, cultivate the right mindset. From potential to achiever, leverage your strength. From achiever to potential, you need to integrate your purpose and vision. And once you are an influencer, you need to create a legacy as well as magnify your impact. So that's how our climb framework works, my friend.
Magnifying your impact is crucial, people, so that you can build your own legacy. What's the first practical step you recommend for a leader who recognizes they lack the confidence needed to drive better results?
The first thing I would recommend is so the good thing is that at least they acknowledge that they lack that confidence. That's great. Uh, the second thing would be to ask for help, and ask for help not to sound weak but to become stronger. I repeat it again: ask for help not to sound weak but to become stronger. And when you are asking for help, you are actually getting different perspective, and you steadily and slowly you start cultivating the mindset it requires you to move from that stage of being invisible to becoming a potential person. So number one would be, get a different perspective and focus on building the mindset. Now I want to touch base one thing here. I talk about mindset a lot in last 14 minutes, but how do you know? One question might be popping up in our listeners: how do you know what kind of mindset you have in? So it's very important for us to know the mindset. Are we having a positive mindset or a not so positive mindset? And one practical tip I will give here is, look at the pattern, look at the task you did in the last 1 week. Were you excited to do those tasks, or you had to push yourself to do those tasks? If you have been excited to do those tasks, that tells us that you are having a positive mindset, a growth mindset. If you have to push yourself to do those tasks, that is, it's very pessimistic and a negative mindset. So once you know these patterns, you know that you are having that kind of mindset, and it's okay to have a negative mindset. It's perfectly fine. It's not a sin, but knowing what kind of mindset you have is very, very important. So thank you.
Totally mindset people. You should know what are your goals in life to amplify your mindset. And Mr. Raul, as a coach and organizational expert, what are your short term and long term goals?
My short term goals is to get better at what I'm doing today because I'm learning. Daniel, I also started my own podcast just a few weeks ago, so I'm learning how to be a great host, how to be a better interviewer. So that is I'm learning. So continuous learning is the short term goal that I'm having for myself to get better 1% every day. On long term perspective, I run three initiatives more on a voluntary basis, and that goal is to build next generation of leaders. So one initiative is my podcast, the Confident Leader podcast, where I share stories of leaders who move from being invisible to becoming an influencer. The second is, as I spoke about, talking the perspective. Many times people do not need training, they just need a perspective. So I have a LinkedIn group called Leadership Sounding Board, where we have some leaders as well as individual contributors or aspiring leaders who come and share their day-to-day challenge and get a perspective at no cost to them, without sharing more detail. Just share their challenges and issues, and the leaders of that group will give their perspective. And the third is, college students are our future. So I volunteer my time to local colleges, George Mason as well as University of Maryland, to teach the business school students as an industry expert, as a guest lecturer. So these are the three initiatives I do, and the long-term objective, as you asked, Daniel, is to build better leaders, because leaders are the one who will help us in reducing the mental health issues, reducing the chronic diseases that is happening in today's young generation. That's a whole different subject altogether, mental health, that I just thought to share with you.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Rahul, and looking forward for more and more success. And congratulations for launching your own podcast.
Thank you.
Please continue doing it, be consistent, and you will be on the top.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mr. Raul, what will be your piece of advice for those people out there? Want to be a coach like you, want to be a podcast host like you, and want to be organizational expert.
Be a good listener, and by listener I mean, don't listen to respond, but listen to understand. In my experience, I have seen I have made a difference in people's life by listening to them. In just short span of time of a 1 month, where I have done 12 episode of my own podcast, the feedback that I've been receiving from my guest is the time, the way I listen to them, the time that I'm giving my guest to speak really matters. Whereas a lot of other guests that they had their experience or host, they did not get the time to speak. So for me, the biggest advice would be listening. Listen to, don't listen to respond, but listen to understand.
Listen, 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 people, is the key of, well, success and happiness. If you're not listening, for sure, there's a chaos. Mr. Raul, and can you please recommend a book that influenced your journey?
Absolutely. So there are many books that I have read, but there are only few books, Daniel, I have read word by word. And one of that book is The Five Level of Leadership by John Maxwell. And in my perspective, it's shifted the way I view leadership. Leadership is not as a title, but as an influence earned through trust, consistency, and service. I'm a big believer of servant leaders, service oriented mindset, and that's the reason I love that book. I recommend to any and every leader this book, The Five Levels of Leadership by John Maxwell.
Thank you for your recommendation, Mr. Raul. And can this framework effectively at all levels of management, not just a C-suite, or how does it scale?
So the purpose of this framework, Daniel, was primary for aspiring leaders, first-time leaders, and because that's where I see the gap. A lot of companies have huge budget to groom the senior and executive leaders. They are being sent to Harvard, they are being sent to MIT, they are being sent to many leadership workshops, but there is a very less and a very few budget which is for the new leaders, new managers. So my focus is to those individuals who are stepping up into new leadership. It can be applicable to everyone, all the levels, but primarily it is more applicable to those young, aspiring managers, first-time managers who do not know, they just got promoted but do not know how to move forward.
Yes. Please approach Mr. Raul if you don't know what you are doing. He will guide you for sure. And Mr. Raul, does confidence leadership, as you define it, make an organization a stronger magnet for top talents?
Absolutely, there is no doubt about it. uh, Confident leaders, as I said earlier, it really makes employees stick to the organization. Confident leaders, they are more prone to take risks. Confident leaders are more prone to think out of the box, and confident leaders are more prone to adversity because they are fearless. They're not afraid of fear. So definitely it will add a value and it will act as a magnet to an organization. Absolutely.
Mr. Raul, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and of course, my book 101 review in fifth season or two, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in its fifth season as well. Geography 104 fourth season, and my baby podcast, Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in fourth season. Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Mr. Rahul, who might be the unexpected beneficiary or uh, introverts or new manager or struggling teams of adopting this confident leadership approach, and why?
So as you mentioned, specifically the aspiring leaders would be the biggest beneficiary for this framework. And also those organizations who are undergoing change, there is a lot of chaos when an organization change happens. So our framework will also help uh, organization dealing with change. Our framework will also help the leaders who are dealing with that change management process, uh, and not just allowing them to navigate the change but also build their own confidence as they are navigating the change. Statistics shows that there is a lot of attrition happens whenever an organization goes through this change management process. And the main reason of that attrition is that people are not felt involved, people are not felt seen. So if our new leaders, aspiring leaders, they build that confidence among themselves, cultivate the right mindset, it would be a game changer for those organizations who are undergoing those change.
Very well said, Mr. Raul. Very well said. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your expertise, or the projects that you are doing right now?
Absolutely. So, if you are undergoing any change management process, or if you are an aspiring leader struggling to get that different perspective, struggling to get the right support, I invite you to be part of my LinkedIn group. Just search for Leadership Sounding Board on LinkedIn and join that group. It's all absolutely free. The other way is listen to our podcast on Apple and YouTube, the Climb, the Confident Leader podcast. That is also another way for you to learn from stories of seasoned leaders who have gone through all the challenges that probably you are facing or you would face in your life. So you already will be a step ahead as you grow in your leadership journey. Uh, if for any support, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm a very easygoing and very quick in responding to the messages on LinkedIn. I would love to connect with you and be part of your leadership journey. And thank you for
Yes.
being beautiful.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Rahul Sharma because if you support him, more and more and more empowering coaching to come. So, Mr. Rahul, thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure being on the show, Lucas. Daniel, have a good one.
Bodycam people, see you soon.